今天将同样的用影片的方式来与大家分享的是联合国政府间气候变化专门委员会的前主席，同时也是保护地球行动首席导师的 Dr. Rajendra Pachauri。我们请慈济基金会严执行长来为我们做介绍及引言。And now, also with video presentation, to present our foreign opening speeches is Dr. Rajendra Pachauri, Chief Mentor of Protect Our Planet Movement and former Chairman of the IPCC. Now let us welcome the introducer, CEO, Mr. Paul Wen-Yen.
Good morning again. It's my great honor to introduce our second keynote speaker, Dr. Rajendra Pachauri, the Chief Mentor of Protect Our Planet Movement and the former Chairman of the IPCC. During his 13 years as the Chairman of IPCC, he has put a lot of effort on bringing awareness to the public on climate change issue. The IPCC was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize during his tenure. We are grateful to have Dr. Pachauri present in 2018 TEMA Annual Conference in Taiwan, Hualien. However, he couldn't join us today because of his health condition. And he had recorded an 8-minute video to send his address to the participant of 5th Tzu Chi Forum. Without further delay, let's listen to Dr. Pachauri's speech through the video address. Thank you very much.
Dr. Wen-Yen and distinguished participants at the Tzu Chi Forum, I'm very grateful for being given this opportunity. I would have liked very much to be present physically on this occasion because when I was there last year, it was such a rewarding experience and such a blessing to be amongst your midst. And what was particularly inspiring was the fact that I was able to visit the abode of the Master on a few occasions and receive the blessings of the Master, which has remained with me since that time and even today. And I hope that when I salute the Master, I would receive the Master's blessings once again. Now, I'd like to talk to you about climate change, which is by far the most serious challenge that human society is facing. I was Vice Chairman of the IPCC for 5 years and then Chairman for 13 years from 2002 to 2015, during the course of which I had the privilege of receiving the Nobel Peace Prize on behalf of the panel. And that clearly was a turning point because it provided the scientific community with the inspiration, with the encouragement that has propelled us forward to ensure that human society receives the gift of knowledge which assesses the climate change that's taking place in all its aspects. And during the period that I was chair of the IPCC and subsequently, we have certainly been able to create a huge amount of awareness all over the world. There are unfortunately some leaders and those in positions of power who still believe, as a result of several vested interests perhaps, that climate change is not for real. But we know now that it's for real. It was in 2011 that the IPCC brought out a special report on extreme events and disasters. And to my mind, that was a game changer. Because prior to that, everybody believed climate change is just a warming of the whole system, and it doesn't matter if you change the temperature of the Earth by a degree or 2 or 3 degrees. But I think that particular report clearly brought out the fact that climate change is accompanied by an increasing frequency and intensity of extreme events. What are these extreme events? Heat waves, extreme precipitation events, extreme sea level related events. And of course, because of heat waves, because of increased temperature, we also have increasing forest fires. you would be aware that this year itself, in the Arctic region, there were fires ranging from Siberia to Alaska. Now that is unheard of. At the same time, we have rapid melting of the body of ice on Greenland. I have been to Greenland myself. It's a huge, solid amount of ice, about 3 kilometers high. And you can imagine what would happen if some of that ice was to melt and go into the oceans. We would have sea level rise, which would be unprecedented and would change the entire geography of this planet. Now, this is where I would like to mention that Taiwan is an island, and there are many islands across the globe which are going to face huge hazards in terms of sea level rise. And that, to my mind, is clearly one of the most serious impacts of climate change, quite apart from others that would affect agriculture, that would affect availability of water, and even human health. So what we need to do is not only mitigate the emissions of greenhouse gases, but also make sure that we adapt to the growing impacts of climate change. Now, in order to mitigate the emissions of greenhouse gases, what we really need to do is to move beyond the use of fossil fuels. In fact, recently the IPCC brought out a special report on 1.5 degrees Celsius, which clearly specified that the world has to stop increase of warming to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. Because between 1.5 degrees Celsius and 2 degrees Celsius, there are impacts that would be completely unbearable, and that would certainly make an enormous difference in terms of risks for human society and all living species. More recently, the IPCC also brought out a special report on climate change and land. And this clearly specifies the fact that human society cannot consume meat in the manner that it has done all these years. What we really need to do is to shift to plant-based diets. Now, I did this in 2007 at a press conference in Bangkok. I addressed the media and told them that human society has to move to consumption of much lower quantities of meat. And I said, you'll be healthier, and so would the planet. Of course, people ridiculed me. And a year later, I addressed a gathering in London, and that's when the mayor of London, who is now the Prime Minister of the UK, wrote an op-ed piece ridiculing me in a newspaper. This, of course, was prevalent at that time because people don't want to give up the ways that they have been following all these years. Fortunately, there was a city called Ghent in Belgium where I addressed a large gathering, and the mayor and the citizens of that city at least introduced 1 day a week as a meatless day. And then Sir Paul McCartney and I went to the European Parliament to appeal to them that 1 day a week in Europe should be a meatless day. But of course, nothing happened in response to that. So what I want to do is to request the Tzu Chi Forum and this remarkable organization to join hands with me and make sure that we move human society towards plant-based diet. And if we can do that, I'm sure this would have huge benefits to human society and for the ecosystems of this planet. I also want to mention that I have two major organizations called the World Sustainable Development Forum and the POP movement, which stands for Protect Our Planet. And with the latter, what we're trying to do is to mobilize youth all over the world so that they start taking action, they become the leaders of grassroots initiatives by which human society can move towards a carbon neutral future. And to limit temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius, we will have to make sure that by 2040, human society becomes carbon neutral. So I want to appeal to you all and to make sure that we join hands, because I think to deal with climate change is a collective action problem. And I think you are a motivated and enlightened group. If we can join hands together, then I'm sure we can go a long way, and I think we can create a sustainable future. So once again, I offer my homage, I offer my salutations to the Master, and I would like to wish you all the best. I'm sure this forum will be extremely productive and very useful. I'm sorry to be missing it, but I'm grateful to you for giving me this opportunity to address you in this manner. Thank you very much.
感恩两位从远方为我们带来重要的论坛的观点，也感恩两位引言人。Thanks to both distinguished speakers from afar to deliver the main principles of the forum. 透过科学与科技，让我们在今世的灾难当中找到了一个向前走的方向。面对气候变迁，一个最直接的方法就是推倡素食，提倡植物性的饮食。With science and technology, with all the disasters that we face, we're now able to find a way forward. We know one good way is through the promotion of the plant-based diet. 然而，这些都是在表象的推动，如同主教刚才所说到，无论是正向的和平、心灵的和平，或者是世界和平，都提到了人与世界、人与人、人与自我之间的和谐。唯有这样的和谐，才能够真正带来平安。这也就是正言上人所说的：与人无争，与事无争，与世无争。Indeed, whether it's positive peace, inner peace, or world peace, the root is a harmony among us all. This is very much in line with Dharma Master Chen Yan's teaching on the harmony